I'm not going to introduce you today. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about what United Way does so that we can delve into that good work a little bit.
United Way is part of a global network. It's been around for about 130 years. In Australia, we've been operating as an Australian charity for about 60 years. Right. And during those 60 years, it's really been about sort of grassroots support for families and communities. About in the last 15 years, we've looked at specifically what are the challenges Australia's facing and what's happening to the demographic, what's happening to our kids coming through, how well are they prepared for life. And about 15 years ago, through a bit of research we did with the university, we discovered that there is a growing crisis around early literacy. Yeah. So for about the last 12, 14 years, we've been focused on what we can do to help raise literacy levels for children in Australia. Fantastic. And there's some significant issues on the horizon. We know the NAPLAN results in Australia are nothing short of disastrous. 1 in 3 children start school unprepared. They're failing NAPLAN results, literally 1 in 3 kids in year 3. And we know that 90% of those children will never catch up. So it's about developing that love of reading, those early literacy skills that are going to allow you to live a full and rich life.
We specifically help you guys with the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. Now I'm a diehard country music fan, so you had me at Dolly. But you know, if you can tell us more about that and how it started and how it came to be here. We've already covered some of the wonderful work it does and why it's necessary, but maybe you can cover a bit more of that for us.
Yeah, sure, Gareth. When we realised we wanted to work in the early literacy space, we looked around to look globally at what programs can help fill that gap. And we settled on a partnership, a strategic partnership with the Dolly Foundation, so Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. What we loved about it was the simplicity of the program. A book in the mail every month to the child until they start school. It's a simple concept, a bit hard to execute, but it's a simple concept. And we've been running that program now for around about 12 years, and we know it works. Yeah. We've recently done some PhD work on it. We've released some peer-reviewed papers. The program is having a significant impact. It's rolled out currently to around about 4 or 5 countries globally. And as we currently speak, about 50,000 children every month in Australia are receiving Dolly Parton's Imagination Library.
So Clayton, you mentioned that you've been doing this for 12 years. Wonderful, so many children, so many books. So before using A&O, which has been now for, I think, a little over 2 years, what was the main set of problems that you needed to fix that we helped? Hopefully we helped. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that for us.
Yeah, thank you, Gareth. We've always had the perspective that this program should roll out to millions of children. It's happening across the world. We know children need books in the homes every month to build those early emerging literacy skills. So when we took on this project to launch it in Australia, we had very big plans. We knew we had to scale this program to tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of children receiving a book in the home, mailed to them every month on time without any issues. So as we started to roll the program out, we found that in our early days, we ran into significant logistical issues. We could get the books from the publishers. We couldn't necessarily get them on time, as scheduled, every month to these children, because it's quite interesting, Gareth. These children, even though they're young, they expect that book is going to come from the postie every month.
Like a birthday or a Christmas.
It's got their name written on it. So they know it's a gift to them. It's really important that we deliver on our commitment. It's really important that that book turns up in the mail on time every month. It's surprising how many times a parent will say, our child knew the delivery was coming this month. Our child knew the postie was going to deliver it. And the child knew it would be addressed to them. And they had an expectation. Some of them knew the day and they were waiting by the post office because they knew the postie comes about 11 a.m. It's an exciting time for the kids. So we knew that promise had to be delivered. We knew we needed to move to a partner that can guarantee that at scale right across Australia. So as we started to run into these logistical problems, we started to looking around at who could help us achieve this outcome. I think, as we've talked before, this is actually my third sector, my third career in the charity space. And after spending around about 30 years in supply chain and logistics, running 3PLs, I had a good sense of who could do this work. So when we looked at settling on a partner that could really scale the program, we knew the fundamentals. We knew what it took to deliver this program. We knew in the early days it was going to be a certain number of volume. At the moment, we're sitting at about 50,000 children receiving this program every month. We want to scale this to 500,000, even beyond. So the selection process of moving to a new partner was a significant step for us. We were not looking for a partner who could manage today's volumes. We weren't looking for a partner who could manage next year's volumes. We were looking for a partner who could manage 10 years from now, where we've got hundreds of thousands of children on the program. And given some of my background, I knew what to look for. And it was the table stakes. We knew there were a lot of people who could deliver the underlying promise of warehousing, pick and pack, mail merge. And we were able to identify those partners that could move beyond that could even consider innovative techniques that were needed, consider automation, consider what it would take to deliver 500,000 books every month. But most importantly, we wanted to partner with somebody that really got it here in the heart. They could look into it, they could look in the eye, and we felt like they were with us. We weren't just another customer that had to deliver something this month. We were looking for a partner that could look deep within what we're doing and understand the impact, understand the importance of this, and really take it on as a social cause in their own right. And we think we found that with A&O.
Oh, thank you so much. You know, it's rare, especially these days, that there's anything that isn't in some way contentious. There is no contention here in any way. Who could have anything negative at all to say about such a wonderful program? And thank you so much for the kind words. So, Clayton, what's changed then since you started using A&O? We enjoy sending these books out, and as we spoke to the staff earlier, some of them sneak new books into the corner, have a little read about what's in it, which is just wonderful. But what's changed apart from the staff reading your books since your previous suppliers?
I think it's a mindset, Gareth. I love coming out here and sort of kicking the tires and talking to the staff. We've got such an honest and open relationship. We can work through problems quickly. Something arises, we throw it on the table together, we work it through to a solution and we move on. So that's sort of, you expect that of your 3PL provider, to be able to work through the obstacles, the issues, whether it's palletisation, whether it's, inaccurate quantities arriving from a supplier that need to work through. How do you go about cycle counting? What are the challenges around working with Aussie Post? So all these sorts of things are just table stakes for a relationship with a 3PL. And these are resolved so easily with A&O. We just sit down, we throw it on the table, we work it through. In fact, you and I hardly need to get involved because the operational staff just worked so well together and get this work done. But probably what I like most, Gareth, when I come out here is just the incredible passion and the excitement around the program. So I was here recently, I was talking to one of the ladies on the floor that does all the packing, and we're talking about the fact that this year, we'll hit 50,000 families every month on this program. And I said to her, how would you feel if we scaled to 100,000 in the next 12 months? And her eyes lit up and said, bring it on. I can't wait. I'll get some more staff. This is so exciting. Nothing really phases your team, whether I'm talking to your warehouse manager, your ops manager, the people on the floor. They're just so passionate about this program. Nothing scares them. They want this scale. They want to see so many more families receive this program. They feel a part of it. You're an extension to who we are, and that comes through every day in the work you do.
So Clayton, talking about, we do hope to attract more partners, and understanding there's quite a narrow scope of work that we do for you guys. What would you say to other non-profits who might be looking for someone who works in the area we do? What would you say to them about our work?
Some clients don't need A&O because they don't think their supply chain is particularly important to them. But I think the majority of businesses today realise just your 3PL is such a critical part of your customer satisfaction, your customer promise. And what sets you guys out beyond anybody else I've come across, just the incredible humility, the transparency, the ability to have real conversations. Sometimes they're conversations around constraints, sometimes they're conversations around opportunity. But the fact is, you bring them to the table. You don't hide anything, right? We have a conversation, we work it through. And I think what really tipped it for me when we first talked, we were talking about the potential for scale and what would that mean. And we got around a conversation of to what point does our particular program lend itself to significant automation insertion. And I loved the conversation we had. We went back and forward for a number of days, sharing our thoughts. We got together, we had really good conversations around it. And we made a decision not to go too far with the automation. But it was a process. It was the fact that you guys were not hiding from us anything. It was very clear what our approach was. You were open to all sorts of different directions and growth and different technologies. And it was the conversation we had where we felt like we were partnering with somebody who you really cared. We weren't just another, tick the box customer transactional relationship. It was about growing together, understanding our needs, being sophisticated but being flexible and willing to think outside the box. A lot of 3PLs won't even consider things like automation. There'll come a point when we will need to automate, and we'll bring that conversation back to the table, and we'll be looking at different models around the world. I remember the conversations we had when we first kicked off. You did a global search looking at different types of technology that could apply. We've had lots of conversations around how do we become more green? What are the packaging options? And every day I get an email from you, Gareth, sort of say, hey, are you guys aware of this? What do you think of this? Let's chat about that. This might work, it might not. It was that open conversation that occurred over many weeks that kept on reinforcing to me, this is the partner of choice for many years.
Thank you so much for another 10 years then.
Thank you.
Thank you, Clayton.